Last year, I quit my job in corporate America, sold everything in our home, and moved halfway across the world to a beach in Thailand with my partner and 2-year-old daughter, uprooting ourselves from our family, our friends, and everything we grew up knowing in the US. As you can imagine, people were pretty surprised. Some of their first reactions were things like, wait, you can't just quit your job? How are you going to earn money? You can't throw away everything you've built in your professional career. Are you crazy? But it's this type of focus on work, on how much we earn, and how much we gain from working that we often lose sight of what it costs us. Now, a career coach might look at me quitting my job and say something like, you just need to find better alignment between life and work. But the truth is, work is broken. Work wasn't working for me anymore. And in fact, work hasn't been working for many of us. We were promised dreams and jobs of purpose and passion, but instead left exhausted from working within bureaucracy and office politics. We had big dreams when we were little, but instead became corporate bots who typed on a computer and worked late. We sacrificed so much for that promotion that we really wanted. Instead, just rewarded with more work. The reality is, work often robs us of our humanity. These days, it's easier to answer the question, what kind of work do you do? Than it is to answer, what is my purpose in life? Or even, what are my hobbies? So much of our lives, our identity, and sometimes even self-worth is tangled up in our careers and work, and we often lose sight of who we are as a whole. You see, I've been researching and designing the future of work for over 10 years of my career. For the past decade, I've spent it researching and designing jobs of the future workplaces, creating workforce development plans around reskilling in the age of AI, dispelling rumors and headlines that robots are coming for our jobs. I've been advising CEOs and executives about the power and importance of uniquely human capabilities, such as creativity, critical thinking, and collaboration, all things that we need more of in the future of work. I've been helping organizations prepare for the future of work by leaning more into new jobs that allow humans to show their uniquely human capabilities. But while I've been doing this work for others to be more future fit, I realized I haven't created enough that time and space to do that work on myself. You see, the future of work is not just an intellectual debate about what AI can do better than humans or what humans can do better than AI. In fact, I think our obsession with AI is probably taking away a lot of our focus on our humanity. What we actually need is deep healing work to rediscover what we've known for a long time. Because the research actually tells us that creativity, critical thinking, and collaboration are more important than ever in future jobs. Then how do we first cultivate that within ourselves? Now, the corporate answer might be, let's sign everyone up for a training class, or let's do a team building session. But I'm here to challenge that notion today, that it's not just a skill to consume or to learn. It's actually rediscovering qualities that we've known for a long time, but simply buried or forgotten. Of course, it takes time to nurture these kind of skills over the course of our lifetime. And I would say not many of us have the privilege of time and space to do so, especially since so many of us, even as children, were asked to grow up sooner than we were ready. But for me, it looked like quitting my job. Quitting my job allowed me to pursue the things that made me feel alive, that made me feel more human. Things like traveling, seeing the world, interacting with nature, and of course, connecting with my 2-year-old daughter. Spending time beside the ocean with my child was deeply healing for me. And it really allowed me to rekindle that childlike wonder that I thought I once lost. Because what makes us more valuable in the future of work are those uniquely human qualities. And today, I want to share with you how you too can tap into what makes you so powerful in the future of work. Let's get into it. The first quality I want to talk about today is imagination. Now, imagination is one of the most underrated skills of all time. We play it off as, a simple game of pretend with kids. But in a world where we're looking for more innovative and disruptive solutions more than ever, the truth is, if you cannot imagine it, you simply cannot create it. And we see AI failing miserably at this, right? It always just regurgitates the past. And the future of work, or of anything, has yet to be designed. It's yet to be created and uploaded to the internet for AI to summarize for us. We need to take an active role in designing that future. It's funny because when I work with adults, I give them a design challenge. It looks like, pick anything in the world that could use some improvement and try to redesign it. But what I found that people, especially adults, are really good at is limiting themselves to what's feasible today, instead of what's possible tomorrow. Yet, children are so good at this. They're so good at imagination. And the good news here today is that all of you were kids once. It's interesting because I think we often think of imagination as this creative thing that no one's ever thought of. It's dreaming up something new. But it also could look like connecting dots, or seeing things in a new light, or simply finding a new use for something old. That's the foundation for creativity and innovation. Of course, I had the privilege of having daily lessons on imagination from my favorite teacher, my daughter, over this past year. And whether it was playing in the sand on the beach or playing clay art in a cafe, my daughter was constantly testing my creativity. Wow, you drew a rainbow in the sand. How beautiful. No, Mama, it's a farm with chickens and ducks inside. Don't you see? Okay, you're right. You're right. There's more than one right way to interpret something, just like there's more than one right way to solve a problem. And that's the power of imagination. It opens ourselves up to new possibilities. Now, my favorite example of imagination is this one. You see some stuffed animals on a bed, right? Actually, it's a water park. They're actually wearing bathing suits, and they're sliding down the bed and splashing into the pool. On other days, this exact same scene, it's actually a boat, where we sing, row, row, row your boat, and push each other into the water. On other days, this exact same scene again. It's actually an airport, where we pack up luggage for each of our friends and wait in line for security. Somehow my daughter's favorite activity. Just like we did in real life. And so who knew that some stuffed animals and a simple bed could create such a canvas for imagination and play and joy? And so I challenge us today, as we look at the future of work, we need creativity and imagination more than ever to create new possibilities in the world. Because we already have all of the answers that AI can give us. So let's skip past the obvious answer. Let's look at things in a new light and dream a little bigger. Our second quality is curiosity. Now, curiosity, I think, is one of the core tenets of critical thinking skills. Because critical thinking isn't just staring at something and thinking harder. It's actually about being curious. It's asking why behind something and going a little deeper. A simple way you can show curiosity is by asking questions. Now, I want you guys to think about how often in a day do you ask questions versus answer questions? My guess is that we're probably doing more of the latter. And who can blame you? It feels like you become an adult and are all of a sudden expected to have answers to everything. But not kids. My child's favorite question is why. Why, Mama, every day? Why is the sky blue? Why is the ocean blue, but sometimes green? is chasing me? Why are there so many crabs in the sand that I keep stepping on them? And do they eat and poop sand at the same time? Now, for my parent friends, this is a very similar scenario every night. Oftentimes, my parent friends are finding themselves on the floor of their kid's bedroom, waiting for them to go to sleep. Please, please go to sleep. But instead, they're asking you a million questions. And I think there's a lot that we can learn from kids here, as annoying as it might be at bedtime. Because when we approach the world with curiosity, we, in turn, are also more inspired. That's why people love traveling so much. And because they were left in a new place, and they're forced to ask questions to get around. They're forced to ask questions to discover new things. But at the same time, how often do we have a chance to travel and to practice that curiosity when we're so busy working and so busy answering questions for everybody else? And so I challenge us here today to ask more questions than we answer them. If you played around with AI, you'll know that the answer is only as good as the question that you input. And so it's more imperative than ever that we teach and practice how to ask good questions, just like when we were kids. And not just the easy ones that DeepSeek can neatly answer for you in a paragraph. Because in a world with increasingly complex challenges, we need to be asking ourselves, are we even asking the right question? Sometimes just by reframing the question, we can open up new possibilities that don't exist today. All right, our third quality, connection. Now everyone knows that the most important thing for kids is connection, right? Primarily it's connection with their parents or caring adults, but I don't have to go into attachment theory or child psychology for you guys today to know that this is so critical for children. Now, in the corporate world, we might call this something like collaboration or teamwork or even soft skills. But the truth is, we all need these skills, and they're all about connection at the end of the day. It's about human-human communication. It's about having feelings, emotions, sharing a laugh with others. It's interesting also about connection because it's one of the most important things when it actually comes to work. We think a lot about our technical skills, but we often overlook the power of relationships. And in fact, experts are now calling it the relationship economy. What does a relationship economy mean? It means that social skills are more predictable success than ever before, and increasingly so more in the future. Historically, we've gone from a goods economy, right, trading, buying, selling, importing goods, to then an information economy with the advent of computers, knowledge workers, and now we're in a relationship economy. We see this with examples of the rise of social media or social influencing jobs that show us the power of collaboration and connection online. But connection isn't just important in our work. It's also important as we look out at the future when we're facing a global loneliness epidemic. Harvard University has run one of the longest longitudinal studies about what leads to long, happy lives. And you know what they found? The single most significant, greatest predictor is having strong relationships. It means that strong, warm, loving connections are a greater predictor of longevity, of health, of happiness, better than wealth, IQ, or how many hours of work. And so I want us to think about all of these examples, about the importance of connection, because it's what kids feel at an instinctual level. And what I learned this past year is that connection doesn't just have a singular definition. It's not just about a child wanting mama, baba, but really it's about how they connect to themselves, how they connect to others, and connect to nature and the world around them. Now, connecting to themselves looks like listening to their gut, listening to their instincts. And we know kids are so good at this, right? Whether they're crying, they're hungry, they're tired, they don't want to do something, they're always speaking their truth. Connecting to others looks like practicing empathy, asking for help, being vulnerable. It looks like community, whether that's a play date for kids or having colleagues at work or school. Connecting to nature and the world around us looks like interacting with and respecting the land and sea, because our humanity is also a gift of nature, coexisting with other sentient beings on this earth. And so, at the root of all of this deep desire for connection, this expansive definition of connection is within all of us, but oftentimes shut down or simply not incentivized in a world that rewards individual performance. And so I challenge us today to seek deeper connection to ourselves, to others, and to the world around us. Because hardly anything is done alone anymore. We need each other, we depend on each other, and together we can create more possibilities in the world. So today we talked about imagination, curiosity, and connection. All things that we knew deeply when we were kids, and what our inner child still holds. Oftentimes in society, we're really quick, especially as adults, to kind of brush past children. We tell them to be quiet or stop crying in public, or try to shape them into mini adults before they're ready. But really, we have a lot to learn from kids. And what's great is that all of you were kids once. And your inner child today still bears so much wisdom. It means listening to your inner child, what they wanted to say, what they wanted to do, how they felt, what they wanted to try, but maybe didn't get a chance to try, or to explore, or to say out loud. The systems around us have deleted our natural state of childlike wonder. And I think what we need now more than ever is a human reboot, a human control alt deletes, to rediscover, to rekindle, to cultivate, to hone and nurture those uniquely human capabilities. Because doing so allows us to be more human in the age of AI. It allows us to be more resilient in the future of work. And it allows us to be more connected to our humanity. And so, how might we? How might we create a future where work? It's imaginative, it's curious, it's connected. How might we create a future where work is joyful, it's meaningful, and inspiring for everyone? I believe that the answer is within each of us. That to be more resilient in the future of work is actually coming home to what we've known for a long time. And I promise, you don't have to quit your job or move to Thailand to look for the answers. You can start by tapping into your inner child. Thank you.